Picture this, it's a quiet September morning in 1945. On a small Pacific island, local villagers wake up to the most shocking sight of their lives. American soldiers are driving bulldozers on the beach. But they're not building anything. They're pushing millions of dollars worth of military equipment straight into the ocean. Tanks, trucks, jeeps, crates full of rifles, even brand new boots and ice-cold Coca-Cola bottles. Everything crashes down the sand and disappears into the blue water. The locals think the Americans have gone completely insane. But there's actually a crazy reason behind this madness. Let's go back a few years to World War II. This little island called Espiritu Santo became one of the most important military bases in the Pacific. From 1942 to 1944, America shipped an absolutely ridiculous amount of war supplies here. We're talking about enough equipment to supply entire armies. The Americans carved a massive base out of the jungle. They called it Button. They built airstrips, barracks, dining halls, and even a movie theater. At one point, 100,000 soldiers lived on this tiny island. To the locals, it looked like someone had dumped entire cities' worth of equipment on their beaches. Mountains of trucks, jeeps, cranes, and supplies stacked everywhere. To the Americans, it was just insurance. They wanted enough supplies to keep fighting no matter what happened. Then suddenly, everything changed. By late 1944, Japan was losing badly. The war moved away from the island. The only thing that got bombed during the entire war was a cow named Bossy. When the war ended in 1945, America faced a huge headache. What do you do with a tropical island stuffed with millions of dollars of military equipment you don't need anymore? They had three choices. Option 1, ship everything back to America. Sounds smart, right? Wrong. It would cost a fortune and take forever. Plus, flooding America with cheap military jeeps and tools would destroy American companies trying to get back to normal business. Option 2, take everything apart and sell the pieces. They tried this. But tanks and trucks are built like fortresses. Taking them apart was slow, messy, and the soldiers hated doing it. Option 3, sell everything to whoever wants it. This worked great at first. Buyers from Australia and New Zealand showed up, buying generators and even armored vehicles for super cheap prices. The soldiers loved this because every sale meant they could go home sooner. And man, did they want to go home. They were tired, homesick, and getting angry about still being stuck on this island. Here's where it gets interesting. The British and French controlled the island back then. America offered to sell them everything for just 6 cents on every dollar, basically giving it away. But the Europeans got greedy. They thought, if we wait long enough, maybe the Americans will just leave all this stuff for free. Big mistake. The Americans got fed up. On that September morning in 1945, they decided to send a message. Bulldozers fired up. Engines roared. One by one, they pushed trucks, jeeps, tanks, cranes, and even unopened Coca-Cola bottles right off the beach into the Pacific Ocean. The water bubbled and churned as millions of dollars worth of equipment sank to the bottom. The locals watched in amazement as an entire army disappeared under the waves. They called that spot, $1 Million Point. The message to the Europeans was crystal clear: if you won't buy it, nobody gets it. The Americans did leave some things behind: airstrips, docks, roads, and buildings that completely transformed the island. The locals got creative with what was left. Jeeps became farm tractors. Metal parts became tools for fishing and building houses. They turned war machines into everyday life. $1 Million Point wasn't the only place this happened. All across the Pacific, America dumped military equipment into the ocean. Islands from the Philippines to Vietnam got their own underwater junkyards. Here's the crazy part: dumping all that metal actually helped the ocean. The rusting tanks and jeeps became artificial reefs. Coral started growing on them. Fish moved in. Sea turtles, sharks, and colorful tropical fish made homes in old war machines. Scientists discovered these accidental reefs actually helped protect coastlines from erosion and gave damaged coral reefs a place to recover. Today, divers travel from around the world to swim through these underwater museums. They take photos of coral-covered jeeps and gun turrets now home to clownfish and sea anemones. It's surreal, swimming through a graveyard of war machines that are now bursting with ocean life. The U.S. military still occasionally dumps old tanks and armored vehicles in the ocean, but with strict rules now. Since 1972, everything has to be completely cleaned of oil, fuel, and toxic chemicals before it goes underwater. Some people love it, it's cheap, creates reefs, and gives the Navy target practice. Others worry about long-term damage to the ocean. Here's what's amazing: machines built for destruction now support some of the most beautiful and fragile life on Earth. On Espiritu Santo, divers still visit Million Dollar Point. They swim past crates of forgotten tools and steel beams now covered in colorful sea life. What started as a fit of military frustration has become something nobody expected: a living reef, a tourist destination, and an accidental monument to how destruction can sometimes become creation. The ocean inherited an army and turned it into a garden.